Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, any day I get to work with my wife is a good day.
Well, that's every day.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's a good day. And it's a great day today because I have an interview with somebody that I watched as a child in movies and absolutely thought that she was awesome. Monique from Better Off Dead.
I know, I love
Diane
her.
Franklin. Here's the thing that's funny. In that movie, she's got a French accent. And then she was in another movie, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. In that movie, she's one of the princesses with like a British accent. She has no accent. She's just a really good actress. So
she's awesome. I love her.
Absolutely. We got a chance to meet her at 80s in the Sand. And guess what? She's coming back again this year for 80s in the Sand.
That's fantastic.
And we're excited to go again. So we're going to be chatting with Diane Franklin here during the program today. I'm excited about that. Got a quote for today as well. Sometimes you just have to put on lip gloss and pretend to be psyched. Mindy Kaling said that. I don't think I'm going to do the lip gloss part, but I'm going to pretend to be psyched. Okay. I actually don't need to pretend. I am pretty psyched. It's a Monday. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Many people make New Year's resolutions this month. If you're making a resolution to kick some sort of addiction to the curb, I'm proud of you. It's not easy, but you can do this. Think of how great 2018 can be without the addiction monkey on your back. You can do this, and the Addiction Hope and Helpline wants to help. If you or someone you know needs help kicking a drinking problem or a drug addiction problem, there's a toll-free number to call, 800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380. Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Monday, January the 8th. Today is Bubble Bath Day. It's been a long time since I've done a bubble bath.
You know, the other day I was taking a bath and I put one of those bath bomb things in that everybody, they sell them for like $6-7 a piece.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything. I was like, what? Why are people spending $7 for this? I thought it would bubble or something.
You know, you'd have I'd open the bedroom or the bathroom door and bubbles would pour out.
It was ridiculous. I was like, why do people buy these things?
Maybe you did it
It just kind of made it smell good, but
okay.
I mean, I
is that
just
why you
don't
smelled
see
so good the other day?
Of $7.
Hey, it's also Male Watchers Day today. MALE, Male Watchers Day today. I'm not sure what that is exactly.
I know what that is.
I don't think I'm going to participate. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Jewelry. It's a great way to say I love you. Valentine's Day is next month already. Don't wait until the last day, then rush into getting something that'll get you by for another year. Make this the year that you plan ahead and get something amazing. I know, you're on a budget. That's cool. We have a friend in the jewelry business. He's already lower than any other jeweler I've found, and he's letting us do a special this month to save you even more. I have the details and a link to his store at radiosavings.com. Get her the jewelry she deserves at a price you can afford. Check it out at radiosavings.com. Coming up, we got your brain on drugs, but first, take a listen to this. Tobacco giant Philip Morris says they're giving up on cigarettes. What? I cannot believe that. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
So I wonder if
what they'll do now.
I don't know. Is that a New Year's resolution? You think they'll give up on that? We're going to quit cigarettes, and by February, like, nah, we didn't really mean it.
I wonder what their
I
new
don't know.
business model
What else
is.
are they into? I have no clue. I'm not a Philip Morris guy. So
They're just
I
going to
don't know.
run up to random people on the street and inject them with cancer directly.
Would you just the views expressed on this radio program do not reflect the views expressed by this radio station or whatever that's supposed to be. We've got your brain on drugs coming up.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. Edwin Greco Wiley Biggs. That's a long name.
That is a long name.
Just to get the
Sounds
name out.
Important.
Took half the story. Well, he's age 36, and he claims the drugs in his rectum were not his. Whoa, wait a minute. What?
Wrecked him. Damn near killed him.
Would you stop it? During a strip search, while being processed into a jail, they were processing there at the police station.
Those aren't mine.
And they found a small balloon filled with marijuana. And it wasn't in his pockets. Anyway, he told the officers, those drugs aren't mine. A judge didn't buy that story. He got sentenced.
no.
I don't know why. Such a believable story. It was quite the tale. Well, it wasn't quite never mind. He got sentenced to 3 to 6 years in prison for possession of contraband. He appealed recently, sticking with his "those drugs weren't mine" story. The court upheld the original sentence. No, they really weren't mine. I sat down on the bench and
they were.
I'm not sure
on
what
the bench.
I don't know. Anyway, good try. Good try. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, a new remake of Cleopatra is being made. It's reportedly twice as bloody and includes way more sex scenes because,
I've never seen Cleopatra.
Well, here's the thing. It's about time they do a remake in Hollywood. I mean, we haven't had a remake.
Right. I mean, they've been coming up with nothing but fresh
it's
new
all
ideas
fresh new.
for
No,
ever.
Imagine. They're remaking everything. Is there a movie that you think should be remade? Is there a movie that you think it's time to do a remake of this?
Most movies that they remake, I think you shouldn't be messing with that movie.
When I was a kid, I watched a movie called Brewster's Millions, and I loved it, and I didn't realize that was a remake. Mm-hmm. There's like 4 other versions of that I didn't know about. That was a great movie. It was a great movie. Is it time to remake it again? I don't know.
No.
Maybe it is. Hey, the young lady that took over for Matt Lauer on the Today Show, Hoda Kotb, am I saying that right? She's making $18 million a year less than Matt Lauer did. But here's the thing they got to understand. He's been there for like a billion years.
Matt Lauer to do with the fact that she's a woman.
Well, but I understand where they're saying, hey, you had the money in the budget for him, and now you're hiring her, but you're starting her out way down here. So, I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he had been there forever.
He had been there forever, and he was well known. He had a fan base. She doesn't. Right. Have you ever heard of her before?
No,
ever?
But
no.
I'm not into that. I don't know. That's not my thing. I'm going to move on. I'm uncomfortable with this conversation, Heidi. That happens here a lot, by the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Make 2018 the year for your business. Use radio to get more people to know your business. Radio is a powerful tool. Over 90% of us listen to the radio every week. You are right now. Imagine if this ad was talking about your business. Could that help you hit those goals you set for 2018? We can help. We can also create a fun jingle, too, to get people singing your song. When you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable, and that makes radio work even better. Learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day. By the way, the two of us are married here, so there are things that happen in this studio from time to time that wouldn't happen if we barely knew each other like some of those other people. Just a moment ago, she asked me to throw away part of her fingernail that she'd been playing with. What happened? What was that all about?
It came off. I don't know.
I sit nearer to the garbage can than Heidi. So she goes, here, throw this away. I'm like, what's that? She goes, part of my fingernail. What? Would you have done that if we didn't barely know each other?
No.
Don't do it. That's kind of yucky. Hey, Taco Bell announced that later this month they're going to start selling fries. So tacos, chalupas, and fries.
I think fries go with everything.
Fries are good. There's already people freaking out, though, saying that they shouldn't be selling fries at Taco Bell. But I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible idea. Look at some of the other things that they've been doing at Taco Bell.
I don't have a problem. I would order fries with tacos every single time, but I don't go to Taco Bell because I think it's disgusting.
That's not your deal?
No.
Well, you're not really. I don't
like Taco John's either. I don't like any of those fast food taco places.
She's not into that kind of thing.
No.
Hey, for those of
Mexican, I'm going to go to a Mexican restaurant.
We had some the other day. It was amazing.
It was amazing.
Oh, so good.
What was it called? Kiko's.
Yeah, it was so good. It was very good. Hey, Christmas gifts that you give to somebody like power tools, they can be the gift that keeps on giving, because they have scars for a long, long time. There's a lot of dedicated do-it-yourselfers that just recently got new power tools at Christmas time, and there was a huge influx on people in the hospital emergency rooms because they were trying out their new equipment. A medical expert says, here's the quote, they'll be trying out a new saw or a new power staple gun. Next thing you know, they're in the emergency room with us with a nail through their arm, end quote. That's no good. If you don't know what you're doing...
Yeah, if you don't know how to use it, you shouldn't be using it.
Yeah, maybe don't play with it.
Or get some assistance from somebody who does know how to use it until you know how to use it.
Yeah, talk to a pro or something. I just think that would be a better idea. Sydney, Australia, a thief got a big surprise when he stole a bag from a car, ran around the corner and found out what he had stolen was a poisonous snake.
Oh.
Turns out the bag was stolen from the trunk of a professional snake catcher's car.
Whoa.
It wasn't a pet. He's a snake catcher. He went and caught the snake, stuck it in a bag, threw it in the back of his car.
Great, now it's loose again. The
Now
guy
the-
who's busted his butt to catch the thing has to do it all over again.
I get hired again. That's awesome. And I get a free story from, all over the place. Sydney, Australia. His job is a professional snake catcher.
That is not a job I would want.
Do you think we could employ someone around here full time to be a professional snake catcher? I don't think you'd make
No.
Sydney, Australia. They must have a lot more snakes. Apple shared some staggering statistics on April. I'm sorry, not April. What am I saying? April. I guess I saw App Store. Maybe that's where. But it was on January 1st. January 1st, 2018. The App Store had $300 million in purchases that one day alone.
Huh.
So I wonder what the most popular app was that day. I bet it had something to do with quitting smoking or quitting drinking or dieting, one of the big New Year's resolution things. But they had $300 million in app sales on January 1st alone. That's crazy. And I got a story here about a driver that I hope I never, ever, ever get behind. But, it's funny. She has a bumper sticker that kind of at least tells you. A woman in England was banned from driving for 7 days. They told her to get off the road for a week after she got caught traveling at speeds of less than 10 miles an hour on the highway. The woman straddled the shoulder and the right lane as she toddled along the highway. In the back window of her car, there was a sign that says, "I don't do fast. Please overtake." So I think that basically means
Pass me.
Pass me, because
Yeah.
I'm not going any faster. So she was toddling along. That's what they called it. At
Did it
less
say
than
how old
10.
she was?
It doesn't say, but I'm assuming probably.
She must have been elderly.
Yeah, because
And
who else would
afraid
use
to-
"please overtake"? I don't
Yeah.
know. That would be really sad to be in a situation or be afraid to drive like that. I wouldn't want to do it. I'm the guy mine says, "Get out of my way or I will overtake." Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Last year, we went to 80s in the Sand in Punta Cana, and it was the best week ever. You should join us this year for amazing music from Bret Michaels, Taylor Dane, ABC, John Waite, Sebastian Bach, English Beat, The Romantics, Honeymoon Suite, John Parr, and more. Plus, backed by popular request, Jody Watley, Berlin, and When in Rome, UK. Most of us who went last year are going to come back, so the rooms are filling fast. Get your tickets and join us at 80s in the Sand, November 3rd through the 10th, 2018. See photos of our great memories and learn about payment plans at radiosavings.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. Back in November, my wife Heidi and I had a chance to go to 80s in the Sand. It was a great event. We had a chance to meet a lot of great people. One of the people we met there was an awesome actress by the name of Diane Franklin. Now, you may remember her from the movie Better Off Dead. She was Monique, the French foreign exchange student. You might remember her from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. She was one of the British princesses. Or you may remember her from many other movies that she's been in. And we had a chance to visit with Diane Franklin, and here's that interview. So we're going to start with this. Diane, how did you get your start?
I started acting when I was 10 years old. Actually, I wanted to be an actress since I was 4, honestly. And my parents were like, "What will you do with this child? What's happening?" Because they were German immigrants. And I was like, I want to be on TV. I want to be like Marlo Thomas from That Girl. And but my hair was too short and curly at the time. That's at least what I was told by an agent. And then I actually go into depth. I wrote a book about my acting life called get this. It's called Diane Franklin, The Excellent Adventures of the Last American French Exchange Babe of the 80s. And I wrote that title because, one is, I didn't necessarily think people would actually know who I was. So if I put that in the title, they'd remember. But also I thought, you can't say that without laughing. And that's kind of my, personality. I'm a more upbeat person. So when I came up with that book, it was basically to tell people, like, how do you go from like being a regular kid, like how does one star in a movie? How does that happen? I had no connections, and I worked really hard, but my parents listened to me. I mean, I asked them if I wanted to be an actress. They went, okay. And so then I guess I started when I was 4 wanting to do it, but I didn't give up. And then, so by the time I was 10, they went, okay, I guess she really wants to do this, because I took ballet and singing, as I was a kid growing up. Then 10 years old, I started, and I did modeling in commercials, theater, soap opera. And then I got my big break, really was the film Last American Virgin. That was my first actual film role, and it was the lead. And that was amazing. So my first book is based on that. My second book, which I just came out this year, 2017, is called The Excellent Curls of the Last American French Exchange Babe of the 80s. But the thing about that book is, and I remember it happening when we were doing Last American Virgin, I was the first actress to kickstart all that curly hair craze trend happening in the 80s. I was the one, because what happened was I had been doing modeling all those years and acting, and would straighten my hair. And when I got virgin, it was a complete accident. I let my hair go curly, and I talk about that in my second book. And basically, I have tons of great photos, and I talk about what that experience was. For me as an actress, because like Brooke Shields, she helped me get into the business because she had those dark eyebrows, and then I, with my curly hair, helped inadvertently, there's Julia Roberts, and there was Flashdance, Jennifer Beals, and Dirty Dancing, Jennifer Grey. Like, all that came after, because curly hair was then considered as an American style that was beautiful. Curly hair became beautiful with the film Last American Virgin, and that wasn't happening before. So I remember, I started getting lead after lead after that film, and everybody was like, just keep your hair like that. So I didn't have any connections. It had to be something that was distinctive for me to be getting those leads. But also, obviously I'd been acting for years and years, but it's such a, I would say, like, acting success is also based on so much of staying in the business. You do what you do, and eventually one day the world gets you or is ready for you. Because fame won't happen when you're ready. It happens when the world is ready. And so I acted 10 years. They say 10 years and you have success. It took 10 years to have your overnight success. But what that means is that you are who you are, and the world cycles with what's in and what's out, and so eventually it's your turn. So, if you're an actor, you just have to hang in there. You have to be patient. You have to find a lifestyle that supports what you want to do until then. And with me, I just would say I always wanted to act, and I just did any commercials, hand modeling, whatever it was that was voiceover, any kind of work I could. That was my, what I did. So, but anyway, so that's what started, how I started.
And this is just the first segment of our interview with Diane Franklin. We had a chance to visit with her at 80s in the Sand back in November. She's going to be back again at 80s in the Sand in November of 2018, and we're planning on being there as well. It is a ton of fun in the sun in Punta Cana. All of the details on our page, johnandheidishow.com or facebook.com/johnandheidishow. And again, we're going to pick up our interview with Diane Franklin next Monday and have a little more from her. And we're going to get a chance to learn about some of the other fun things she's working on now. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.
John and Heidi.
Many people make New Year's resolutions this month. If you're making a resolution to kick some sort of addiction to the curb, I'm proud of you. It's not easy, but you can do this. Think of how great 2018 can be without the addiction monkey on your back. You can do this, and the Addiction Hope and Helpline wants to help. If you or someone you know needs help kicking a drinking problem or a drug addiction problem, there's a toll-free number to call, 800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The human eye is so sensitive that if Earth were flat and it were dark at night, a really, really dark night, a candle could be seen, just a little candle, from 30 miles away. So that's how sensitive the human eye is. You could see a candlelight burning 30 miles away on a good, clear night if the Earth was flat. So you could see that far, but you can't see that far. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
O.J. Simpson's father, Jimmy, was a well-known San Francisco drag queen. That's interesting.
Really?
Yeah. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Harry Potter and the Prisoners of Azkaban is the only film in the series not in the 50 highest grossing film list. It did reach 471 in Empire Magazine's 2008 list of the 500 greatest movies of all time. But it's the only in the Harry Potter series that's not one of the top 50 highest grossing films of all time.
That's not a series I ever got into. Our daughter watched it.
I didn't get into that. I shouldn't even admit this, but we just finally watched Godfather movies. What was that, like 10 years ago?
You didn't like those either.
Your cousin's insistence, because he's quoting it all the time, and I'm like, I don't get it. He's like, you haven't seen The Godfather? So we finally watched that. I was like, okay, it was okay. But the other one that I shouldn't even admit, because I'm going to lose man points on this one, is James Bond. All of those movies, I've seen like one of them.
Oh, I've probably seen 5.
Yeah, well, you're ahead of me. You're listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Last year, we went to 80s in the Sand in Punta Cana, and it was the best week ever. You should join us this year for amazing music from Bret Michaels, Taylor Dane, ABC, John Waite, Sebastian Bach, English Beat, The Romantics, Honeymoon Suite, John Parr, and more. Plus, backed by popular request, Jody Watley, Berlin, and When in Rome, UK. Most of us who went last year are going to come back, so the rooms are filling fast. Get your tickets and join us at 80s in the Sand, November 3rd through the 10th, 2018. See photos of our great memories and learn about payment plans at radiosavings.com. Now your grandiloquent word of the day, it's flibbertigibbet. Flibbertigibbet. Do you know what flibbertigibbet means?
No, I do not.
Flibbertigibbet. Flibbertigibbet is a noun, a silly, flighty person. The flibbertigibbets were only too willing to care for themselves. They loved to live free, like the pigs and the chickens in the village that knew nor pens nor coops. So that's from a book in 1890. Flibbertigibbet. Are we flibbertigibbets around here, Heidi?
Probably.
This is for all those persnickety people that we talked about earlier in the week. It is a silly or flighty person. It is quite the flibbertigibbet program, the John and Heidi Show, and we have our grandiloquent I can't even speak. Our grandiloquent word of the day. Thanks for listening.
John and Heidi.
Jewelry. It's a great way to say I love you. Valentine's Day is next month already. Don't wait until the last day, then rush into getting something that'll get you by for another year. Make this the year that you plan ahead and get something amazing. I know, you're on a budget. That's cool. We have a friend in the jewelry business. He's already lower than any other jeweler I've found, and he's letting us do a special this month to save you even more. I have the details and a link to his store at radiosavings.com. Get her the jewelry she deserves at a price you can afford. Check it out at radiosavings.com. Now, some weird news on a Monday. Michael Wilson, age 32, rigged his door to electrocute his pregnant wife and changed his Facebook status to widowed before anything even happened to her. That wasn't very smart.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. What are you doing? His plot was to attach a battery. I'm sorry, his ploy was to, yeah, that makes more sense.
Same thing.
His ploy was to attach a battery charger to the doorknob and the deadbolt, and when his wife touched both, she would be electrocuted.
Oh, my gosh.
Fortunately, Wilson's wife never took hold of the doorknob. Police called to the home, found the front door was barricaded and locked. Burn marks were seen near the door handle. A kick to the door sent off large sparks. Hubby was arrested on a variety of charges. A Facebook page belonging to Wilson shows him gripping 2 handguns and boasting that he's, quote, the guy your father warned you about, end quote. Also listed him as widowed. He needs to update his status now to in jail.
Oh, my God.
What a knucklehead. His accomplice was Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. Maybe not. I don't know. Doesn't that sound like a Home Alone thing?
It does.
He's going to be home alone for a long time in a little cell. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Last week, North Korea accidentally hit one of their own cities during a missile test.
I read that to you last night.
This is just
that cracks me up.
Sources say an intermediate-range ballistic missile launched by the regime last spring. Oh, so this was last spring is when it happened?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was just recently.
Okay. Well, the story came out recently. It says the launch last spring accidentally hit the city of Tokan, population of more than 200,000 people. Sources blame an engine malfunction on the crash. About a minute after the liftoff, several structures appeared damaged in satellite images reported by debris from the failed launch. While there have been no confirmed reports of deaths in the community, the missile test failed miserably. It came down close to some densely inhabited areas. That's really sad for the people that live there.
He's like Wile E. Coyote over
I was just
there.
going to say the same thing. Where does he get his missiles?
Really have access to
Does he get
those
the missiles
kinds
from
of
Acme Corporation?
Right?
I remember watching that as a kid. Wile E. Coyote didn't have a whole lot of success either. Never once. I don't know why. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Make 2018 the year for your business. Use radio to get more people to know your business. Radio is a powerful tool. Over 90% of us listen to the radio every week. You are right now. Imagine if this ad was talking about your business. Could that help you hit those goals you set for 2018? We can help. We can also create a fun jingle, too, to get people singing your song. When you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable, and that makes radio work even better. Learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
A big thank you to the fabulous listeners who tune into this program and also follow us on the Facebook and the Instagram. Am I saying that the wrong way?
Yes.
You just looked at me funny. We have a gentleman that shared this, and I think it's really cool. In Florida, last week, it got so cold, iguanas were falling from the trees.
I think that is adorable.
And they say don't touch them. They think that they're okay. They just got shocked because it got so cold that they fell out of the tree.
Right.
So in some parts of the world, they have blizzard warnings. Now in Florida, they have falling lizard warnings.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
You decided to use that, huh?
I did.
You ran that one by me in advance, and I was like, yeah, I don't think so. You decided to keep that gem in.
I kept it in there. I tried it on a few others. The 2-year-old range, they laughed. Anything over 5 kind of looked at me like I need to work on my material. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and my beautiful bride takes good care of me. Always has good stuff. Thank you, Heidi. For
You're
doing that.
welcome.
Confused after finding himself on a baseball card, he turns it over to realize what his wife kept from him. For the past 14 years, Steve Winfrey has suffered from chronic kidney disease. He's had all kinds of different things, an amputation, gout, bunch of surgeries. And prior to this reveal, Heather, that's his wife, underwent some tests to see if she was a match because she wanted to help him out. So turns out, back in July, Heather received a call while she was at work from a transplant donor coordinator to deliver the good news. Hey, you are a match. She said, I started bawling. That's what she wrote on her blog. I felt overwhelmed. I've been given the opportunity to save my husband's life. Heather decided, I'm going to just not go and tell him, hey, guess what? Good news. I'm going to come up with a fun way to tell him. She ordered a custom baseball card. And she got this from the people at Topps. And it says, Heather will be pitching a new kidney to him. And it's a card featuring her husband. It's really cool. It says here, Heather gave a pack of cards to her husband and then started filming. He became a little suspicious, trying to figure out, why are you recording me? Open a pack of baseball cards. She kept saying, you have a special insert there. And as you look at it, you'll see it was quite a deal. And he's got a post here. It says, I'm getting a new kidney. My wife is a match. I can't believe it. I'm bawling my eyes out right now. We got the reaction on film, too. So it is so cool that she would do that.
Yeah, it is.
And it's really cool that she would share that with the world like that. Isn't that neat?
Yes.
I think it's really cool. So anyway,
He looks like a nice guy, too, doesn't he?
He looks awesome, and so does she. And he's got a picture. He's holding up the card. And thank you to Topps for sending us these amazing cards, he says on here. They're super duper excited. And like I said, thanks for filming it and sharing it with us, because we love it when we have good news to share. And if you've got good news that you would like to share with us that we can share on the program, you can do that through our Facebook page as well. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. This good news and your good news can be shared at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.